So let's talk about how we breathe in more graciousness and spaciousness into our days. When we're really feeling pressed, we don't have a sense of options. And sometimes we might not have very many options. We might actually have few choices. For me, as a person with an underlying set of medical conditions and a compromised immune system, I don't have a choice about masking if I go out of the house or if I meet somebody at the door. I need to. That's part of my protecting myself as well as protecting others. And so I do that. Now, I do have choices about which mask I put on and finding one that really fits my face and expresses my personality. Recognizing that, I really could breathe into that spaciousness. And if you've seen some of the amazing masks that people are creating around the world, some of the fashion designers that are making them, it's just incredible. The way that we're taking our creativity and applying it to something that many of us need to be wearing and using. And we can do that in all parts of our lives. We can bring this breath of creativity into being. But if you're feeling like you don't have a lot of options or spaciousness in your life, in your heart right now, how do you begin to find that? The first thing that I do is check my posture, because frequently my posture is going to reflect how I'm feeling. So I want to make sure that I have space for my diaphragm to expand, that I'm really on my sitting bones and not like slumped backwards or forwards, and that my shoulders aren't up around my ears, so that I can have the most relaxed but attentive posture possible. And just assuming that posture, because for me that's so tied into my hours of meditation and prayer and practices of yoga, that I automatically start to feel better. Literally, just being in that posture. And that's part of the real promise of spiritual practices. If we engage them over and over and over and over again, eventually they become part of that comfort zone. They become that space that we can go to when we're feeling stressed and that we're struggling to deal with the unknown or the too much known, and get into a more spacious, gracious place. So I take this posture that I use all the time, whether I'm in prayer or in meditation or practicing yoga, and I deepen my breath. Again, I use that breath a lot in my embodied spiritual practices. The breath and slowing that down, deepening it, literally forces some relaxation, opens my senses, and opens me to possibilities. Immediately, I have more choices after I've had a few nice deep breaths. Now, that took a few decades to really develop. It might take more than just a couple breaths to get there if that's new to you. But it's one of the reasons why I encourage people to practice spiritual practices, these embodied practices that we have that train us to be able to be in difficult situations. And we like to do the training before we get to the difficult situations, but you know what? A lot of us have had to do the training in the difficult situations. So there's always a good time to start. And this is as good a time as any other to try to learn to be present to what is, and also be open to the wonderful possibilities of what might be. It's an amazing place to live. And it's something that I want for everybody, that sense of spaciousness and graciousness in their choices, in their lives, in all of our lives. Yes, sometimes we have limited choices. And indeed, having unlimited choices or vast choices is one of the signs of privilege in the larger society. To really open ourselves to knowing the choices we have and to creating new ones. This is an act of freedom. It's an act of claiming our lives for ourselves. So I invite you to think about those choices. Those choices as we live from compassion, as we live from care for one another and this earth. Those choices and those possibilities that we can make real by how we live, by offering more graciousness and spaciousness to ourselves and to everyone else. Thanks for joining me.